Let's bring in Kerry Firestone, Chairman and CEO at Aureus Asset Management, CNBC contributor. There is your headline. Urge everybody to go read it, Kerry. But what is the gist for those who just either can't or for some reason won't read it? Give us the takeaway.
Well, hi, Brian. Thanks. The idea is that headline news affects markets, but we have to look beneath the headlines. Over the last 10 years, I took all of the incidences where there was a decline of 5% or more in the market. We know definitely 2020, the market was down 34%, but we've had 18 such times when the market has fallen. What caused them? There's a lot of headline China concern. China trade talks, for example, hit the headlines consistently through the last 5 years. There are global worries, such as Greece not paying its debt, Greece defaulting, Spain, Italy, etc. That happened after the financial crisis. The other two big categories were inflation and interest rates. And as we know, the market has basically gone higher over the last 10 years, really the last 12 years, other than that big decline in 2020, and that was COVID. COVID, of course, is a factor that we've had recently. We're hoping that COVID doesn't reoccur as a big headline. But the market recovered, and I looked at each one of those cases. Is it COVID that's going to kill the market in the future? What about China? What about interest rates? What about inflation? And we conclude that there's enough demand in the system. There is enough demand from consumers and industry for product and services that we can withstand these headline risks. And the market is going to be able to move beyond them, that this decline will subside.
As somebody who travels frequently, I can assure you, Kerry Firestone, that the majority of the country outside of the Northeast has moved beyond it already, by the way. They said even if it pops again, we got to live our life. You've got some really interesting picks, names that may have pricing power that we don't talk about much. I mean, I don't hear you guys arguing about Booz Allen Hamilton on the halftime report very much, or American Tower. But you think these are quality stocks with pricing power, because guess what? Regardless of whatever happens with the pandemic, we're going to need cell phone towers.
Yeah. Well, we need defense and we need cell phone towers. And for sure, if you look at that list, Netflix, CRM, Twilio, American Express, Visa, I'm not sure American Express was on the list, but I'm adding it. These are companies that either have subscription models or have some power with cost plus pricing. They also take a percent of revenue sometimes. So American Express and Visa, if there's price increases at the merchant level, they will take their share of it. And I think that's important because definitely we have some inflation. It's probably here to stay. But you and I both know there has been many periods of time. There have been decades where there's been 4% average inflation, and the market has been able to sustain an uptrend. It's just many people who think about the market or write about it weren't alive or really weren't paying attention to inflation back in the 80s.
Or even the 90s. By the way, 94, the Federal Reserve raised interest rates by 2.5%, and the market doubled in the next 5 years. We forget that. You've got to use historical perspective very quickly. On my flight back from Vegas, I kept watching this show on Netflix called The Squid Game. It's disturbing, but I couldn't stop watching it. It may be their biggest show ever. You like Netflix as a pick. I don't know if you've watched the show. It's a little weird.
Oh, it's pretty wild. I think that's going to be a fantastic generator of interest for Netflix. And yeah, I mean, honestly, Netflix had a period of about 10 months where it underperformed. We bought the stock in there, it continued to underperform for a while. Now it's really hitting its stride. It's got a lot more content. Remember, they couldn't make any shows through the first part of COVID. And with that subscriber base and pricing power, we like that stock a lot.